Corey Davis and Jonnu Smith have left 157 available targets left. 157. Guess how many games A.J. Brown had more than 7 catches?
0.
1.
Let's just say he throws for 4,200 yards. I was going to say 42,000 yards. That's a lot of yards.
In that case, fire up Pitts,
Fire
Hurst.
Bang, 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 bang. AVG Fantasy Football Podcast. We're here. This is a little bonus episode for you guys. My name's Michael Marcani. I'm the host with the most, and I'm here. My name's Dirty Mike, actually. Dirty Mike and the boys. I'm Dirty Mike, and here are the boys.
We're the boys.
Bam.
It's fucking soup kitchen.
We're talking something for this bonus episode. We're talking one thing, and it's Julio Jones. Julio Jones is traded, and there's a lot that will be affected in this trade. A lot for the Titans, a lot for the Falcons. So we're just gonna go over that, what all the fantasy hype is on that trade, what's going on, what we think, and predict the future. That's what we do here at AVG Fantasy Football. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, is this this bonus episode? I didn't even ask you. Are we doing this just strictly on YouTube? We're just going everywhere.
The bonus.
This is kind of like a bonus, I feel like, no?
It's a bonus, dude. Maybe get a sign up for the Patreon to get this bonus info.
Oh, yeah.
You get a bonus. Maybe I'll take a bonus glass of wine. Maybe I won't.
It's a bonus.
Well, yep. So that's everybody. We got Anthony Ravelis, Andre Navarro, and Tyler Ravelis along the ride here today. Full squad. Feels good, huh, guys?
Hey, we got the 4-man roster.
Hey, I got my chair back. I love this chair.
You like that chair?
You got your man Hill back, Mr. Cool Klein.
Hey, it gives me booty splinters.
All right, let's freaking get into it, baby. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
Are you ready?
Bam.
I think we stolen this
I was just about to
from John Cena.
This is our theme song.
It feels like ours now. I don't even think of that anymore. I just think of our thing.
John Cena.
But yeah, we got Julio Jones trade.
I mean, you can't see him, so.
Traded.
That's why. Probably I don't know why. Or I don't know who he is. I can't even talk.
Bam. Julio Jones finally goes somewhere else besides the Falcons.
Yeah, so we got I said it on the TikTok. If you're not following the TikTok already, it's at AVG Fantasy Football. We'll be more on there this season than ever before.
We'll be more talkie-talkie.
We'll be more talkie-talkie on the talkie. But, yeah, we kind of had a little video on there kind of breaking down the Julio Jones trade right there. But there's only so much you can do in 60 seconds. So this is kind of be like a more in-depth video to really kind of go over Julio Jones and, I guess the domino effect of what it has on the Titans players as far as the Falcons players, since Julio Jones isn't there anymore. I called it a blockbuster trade or a highway robbery. I mean, it's kind of crazy when you think about, I was thinking about the Amari Cooper trade. They traded a first-round pick from him. I guess maybe it's just because he's so young. He's only in 23, 24, whatever he was.
Yeah.
And D-Hop is older and Julio Jones is older. But, I mean, you're getting these guys for second-round picks. It just seems like highway robbery to me to get a guy who's, arguably one of the greatest receivers of all time. Yeah, I mean, it's just how many times does a second-round pick really pan out? I mean, I don't know the actual statistics, but to me, it just makes sense sometimes to pull the trigger on these trades just to get a player that is going to immediately come in and make an impact. Sometimes that second-round player barely sees the field or, he's out of the league in 2-3 years. But, yeah, Julio Jones gets traded to the Tennessee Titans, so I just want to get your guys' input. I kind of said my input on the TikTok, but trying to get everyone's opinion and input on this one right here. What do you guys think about this?
Me? For me, it's I almost said my favorite word from last season, peg.
Peg.
I mean, I just have a hard time based off of the offense, the pace of play with the offense. I got Julio Jones more as like a high-end one, a wide receiver two. I mean, I guess you can piggyback into the next guy. I mean, I basically break it down to pace of play. Ryan Tannehill's never been a guy who throws for 4,500 yards. He's kind of been more of a 4,000-yard quarterback. He does get a bump with Julio Jones, but, I mean, just pace of play, snaps from the offense over the last 2 years, 30th and 22nd. I mean, there's not going to be a huge target volume like there was in Tennessee, so it's definitely a downgrade to me from Atlanta to Tennessee. And me personally, when I'm going into drafts, he's probably going to go too high where I won't touch him.
Yeah.
Because if I'm gonna take Julio receiver, not even Julio Jones, a receiver is my wide receiver 1. I want them seeing 140 plus targets, and I think that's if everything breaks right. He sees 140, but I have a hard time seeing him more than 140 with AJ Brown still there. So I mean, to me, he's more of like a low end 1, high end 2, and I'll probably draft him more as a high end 2 than I will a low end 1, just because of the week to week volatility possibility with AJ Brown. I don't like that as someone that's probably going to go in the first 3 rounds, so I probably won't have a lot of Julio Jones, to be honest. That's just my early ADP. We know this could change, and we could see where it goes.
It's still really early. We're still a couple months away from actual.
So that's kind of just my quick take on it. I probably won't have too many shares, and then just kind of you can go into the kind of the injury history he's kind of had over the years, and that price is I'm not going to probably pay where he's going to go.
Yeah. What about you, Dre?
I mean, where you're saying like late first, I mean, I feel like that feels right. But if it hits, I think he could. If you get him as like your second receiver, I think he has the ability to finish as a top 12. But before I go in, would you say that Derrick Henry's going to get less carries? You think they're going to kind of lessen his load a little since he's had 800 carries back-to-back years? Would you say?
I would think not. I think what Tennessee wants to do, just in my opinion at least, I think they want to run the ball.
No, yeah, I'm thinking
and play defense and utilize the play action. I kind of said it on the TikTok. Tannehill. We'll get into him in a little bit, but I mean highly efficient off the play action. One of the best play action passers in the entire NFL. And I mean when you bring a guy like that in, I think you just ground and pound, run, play action, run, play action. It just kind of really opens things up. And then now that you have Julio Jones, I mean it's. And AJ Brown really emerging, especially coming in his 3rd year. I feel like you can't stack the box when what you really want to do is stack the box against the Titans, but you can't now because you have these 2 receivers on the outside that can really stretch the field and make plays happen.
I mean, you're right, 100%. I guess I could have asked better, but I'm not saying – I think you'll still get over 340, but what do you have, 400 almost last year? Right?
Yeah, I mean –
So I'm thinking like 360, 370, which is only 30. That's not much. But even if not, let's say he gets 400. Corey Davis and Jonnu Smith have left 157 available targets left. 157.
Adam Humphries is gone as well.
And him too. I was literally about to say, and let's just pretend he got 40. Yeah. So you got 200 targets. Obviously, like Amac said, Tannehill's just with Julio Jones alone, getting the ball in his hands is way better than Corey Davis with the ball in his hands or out of his hands since he drops it. But so with those many targets left from last year's offense, yeah, his ceiling's probably 130, 140, but I think with A.J. Brown being there, I think it's going to help him more than anything else, especially because their play-action offense is so effective. The Falcons don't run the ball at all, actually. They fucking suck at running the ball. And Julio still had 700, almost 800 yards, 770 yards in 9 games last year, which is still really good.
I mean, he's still good.
Yeah, he's still good. You know what I mean? He was on pace for fucking 1,300 yards. Easy. Yeah. So I think with A.J. Green being healthy, if he gets 130, AJ Brown, I mean, if he can stay healthy, I mean, his upside is fucking stupid, I think. But like you said, it's still a risk. Like I said, I agree with Anthony as far as the late first or like late back end wide receiver one.
I know what you mean.
I agree with that. But his potential, if he plays, he could do shit like that if you're watching.
If we have some new listeners to that are just starting the offseason, when we say like back end wide receiver 1, we mean usually a wide receiver 1 is someone in the top 12.
Yeah, 12
wide receiver 2 is 24. So we're saying, someone around that back end wide receiver 1 to, 9 to 15.
Yeah. So he's been slept on. A lot of people thought he was injury prone before this year, but the 4 or 5 years previous, he didn't miss more than a couple games. I mean, he was probably questionable.
Every week.
But my man was out there eating.
It's always questionable.
So, I mean, I like it. I mean, it's new scenery. I'm sure he's trying to ball out also, but I think he'll get the targets. Don't get me wrong, but I think that play action might help him.
Yeah. So I was looking at Tannehill last year. Like you said, he goes from one of the most pass-happiest offenses in the Falcons to one of the most run-heaviest offenses in the Titans. Tannehill threw the ball, I believe it was 481 times. 270 of those went to the wide receiver position. So if you want to break it up evenly between him and A.J. Brown, what's that, like 135 targets per person? So, I mean, to me, he's a high-end too. And I kind of agree with what Anthony was saying here. I think he's still Julio Jones, and people are going to reach for him, and he's going to go a lot higher than what I would want. There's going to be certain players in that range that I would probably rather take instead of taking him in that range. I mean, I don't know what the ADPs are right now, but I mean, if it's him or Calvin Ridley, we'll talk on him too. It's Calvin Ridley. Honestly, if it's Julio Jones or AJ Brown, I think I'm gonna go AJ Brown because I think having Julio Jones on the opposite side of the field is only gonna make AJ Brown's life easier because at the end of the day, Julio Jones is still probably gonna see majority of the time the best corner on the opposing team, and I mean we've seen AJ Brown really just kind of explode. And then Julio Jones, I mean, 11 seasons. He's entering his 11th season. He's had 6 seasons where he's had 6 or less touchdowns. So
that's because Matt Ryan's a fucking douchebag.
Yeah, but not a big touchdown guy. I mean, we've seen Calvin Ridley even in his 3 years there with the Falcons. Calvin Ridley, I think it was like 10, 7, and 9 or something like that.
Yeah, he had 10 and like.
So and I feel like AJ Brown is going to kind of be like that Calvin Ridley in a sense for the Titans, where maybe he's getting all the touchdowns and Julio Jones isn't. And the targets won't be the 140, 150 that you'd like to see for that. Like Anthony was saying, if I want my wide receiver one, I want him to be seeing like 140, 150 targets at almost like at a minimum, And I just don't think he can get that with how run heavy this offense is. But I feel like we're all kind of on the same page with that.
I have an experiment. This is for you, Stella. Real quick, Mike, you ready? On the count of 3, we're gonna say who would you rather have, AJ Brown or Calvin Ridley? Cool. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, Calvin. I'm going Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley. Me too.
Didn't you just say? Oh no, you said Julio.
I like whispered it. I was like Ridley.
He's like AJ Ridley.
Calvin Brown.
Calvin Brown.
No, we were talking about this in our league.
Could you pull up that ADP, Mike, by chance for Julio Jones?
It's going to be off. He's like 14 or 15, but they don't adjust to the quick trades. So this is ADP calculated based off of him off the Falcons.
And it's so early. I mean, we're still. I mean, what are we in right now? We're in June, so you still have July and August.
AJ Brown's right there at like 6, right at the 6 range where Ridley was sitting. So it's a nice question by Dre, but it's not. It won't be accurate for at least another 2-3 weeks.
Word. I mean, I do have him in a league, but man, if he's healthy, he's so fucking good, man. Yeah. I hope.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope every player does well, so they, especially no injuries. So that's why I'm saying if he plays all 16 games, man.
All right, let's move on to the next guy we got.
Yeah, let's go to AJ Brown. We're just gonna go more in depth on exactly what we think. We kind of touched on it with AJ Brown, but everybody kind of is on the same page as you guys with this whole AJ Brown and Julio Jones being there. That now there's going to open it up and it's going to look good for AJ Brown and Derrick Henry. But I feel like AJ Brown's a big guy. He's young. He's a talented receiver. I don't know if defenses are going to just automatically just go straight to Julio Jones. You know what I mean? So in that regard, I still kind of like Julio Jones almost as the same guy, and I would say I would almost take Julio Jones over AJ Brown if I had to.
I'll piggyback off of what you're saying, Mike, because I'd put them both in the same tier. I mean, I don't like a quarterback that's going to throw the ball 480 to 500 times to be banking on a top 5 wide receiver with that of where he's going. So, yeah, I mean, I think they're both in my eyes low end 1 to high end 2s because who's going to score touchdowns some games we don't know yet. Yeah, I know you can get off at Julio Jones and say with Matt Ryan and the Falcons shit coordinators they had for 10 years that he didn't score a lot of touchdowns, but we don't know his repertoire with Tannehill and this coordinator. So, someone who doesn't throw the ball a lot and the offense isn't going to change. The strength of schedule doesn't help. I mean, they play the Jaguars twice, the Houston Texans twice. Colts have a good defense. It's like there might be a game where the targets go to Julio Jones and he sees 9 targets and AJ Brown sees 3, and I just don't like that potential volatility. So he's in the same range as Julio Jones for me. So I kind of agree with you, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, for me, AJ Brown, I like it a lot. I mean, I think a lot of people were pretty high on A.J. Brown coming into the year, especially like you said, Corey Davis is gone, Jonnu Smith's gone, Adam Humphries is gone. I mean, they signed Josh Reynolds. He's probably going to be the 3rd receiver for the team, so he'll get, his targets, maybe 50 targets, give or take. But like I said, I just think having Julio Jones is really going to benefit A.J. Brown and his ability. And one thing about A.J. Brown is like, with Julio Jones, we're so used to or accustomed to him seeing 140 targets, give or take, and that's kind of what made him this top 5 dominant receiver who was putting up 1,400 plus yards every single year. A.J. Brown isn't the guy who needs 140 targets to put up some solid points. I mean, we've seen him where he'll have a game where he has 3 catches, 120 yards and a touchdown. And it's like because he has that big play ability. I'm not sure if Julio Jones, I don't want to doubt Julio Jones, one of the greatest receivers of all time, but I think, entering his 11th season, like I said, it's more likely that A.J. Brown's going to be the guy who could take the slant 80 yards to the house over Julio Jones. So I think A.J. Brown still could, even if he doesn't see, the 140 targets, 150 targets that maybe we were projecting before the Julio Jones trade, I think even if he gets 110, 120 targets, he could be highly efficient with those targets. But like I said, I don't see these guys finishing in the top 5. Top 10 might be hard. If I was going to pick one, I think I'm still leaning A.J. Brown.
Yeah, I would say if you're someone who kind of believes that, just real quick, and I'll let Dre finish it off, that he's going to be more in like the 120 range but be effective. He's going to be a guy. These are going to be guys you want to take more in your standard versus half point in PPR, especially PPR. Half point okay, but standard. I mean these. That's probably what you want to favor these guys. PPR, if you believe that the offense is going to give him 120, 130, push him down in your PPR and push him up in your standard.
Yeah.
Yep. Beat me to that 100%. I mean, like you said, he doesn't need a lot of targets. A.J. Brown, he had 84 and then 106. So not much, but still has 19 tugs. But guess how many games A.J. Brown had more than 7 catches?
0.
1.
That's it.
Well, I'm always fucking on it.
But guess what? It was the last
never
week.
Guess it. You'll never guess it.
It was the last week of the season.
I don't watch week 17. That's why.
Yeah, well, no, exactly. And he never had until the last week of the season, never had 10 targets in a season. So he doesn't need high volume, which is why I think it fits Julio Jones better. Like you said, he doesn't need a lot of targets. I think they're going to help each other out, especially with the play action. Like, how many can you put in the box when you have these two guys lining up? Mm-hmm. So I think they're both going to have their weeks where they ball, but I think A.J. Brown in standard, and I would take Julio in any kind of PPR format. I mean, like I just said, he's had one game of more than 7 catches, and he had 3 games of 7, no of 8, no of 9, and then the last week of the season he had 10. So
you guys want to beer bet A.J. Brown versus Julio Jones? It seems like you guys are more on the A.J. Brown side, and maybe.
Well, like I said,
Anthony.
standard. I agree that A.J. Brown, but in PPR, I like Julio Jones.
I'm out because it's just going to come down to who scores more touchdowns.
Yeah, I'll go A.J. Brown if anyone wants to do a beer bet. I'll go A.J. Brown just across the board. I'll go straight across the board, standard, half point, and beer.
All right,
I'll cross. Just finish. All right, I want on that too. I want Julio.
Right. He said
Julio? So you guys have Julio, and I have A.J. Brown just across the board.
And I'm
torn
ACL
week
sidelines.
3.
No, hopefully this is with no injury. I mean,
no
injuries,
injuries count. If your guy goes down, that's fucking
like Des
shit out of luck, dude.
Mike's ruthless. He's just like shit out of luck.
It's gonna happen to me now. Watch. Overall, okay. Oops.
Oh, we got us up close. That's what we got next.
We got Ryan Tannehill. How does this affect the quarterback? Your guys' old favorite QB.
I mean, he's been consistent. I'll just be quick. Consistent. I mean, he's been a top 12 quarterback. I mean, you can't expect nothing but a bump with Julio Jones. The efficiency's been there. 33 touchdowns. I think it was 27 the year before. So I'm pegging him for someone around 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns. He rushes. So he's someone I think you could, even with the Julio Jones, might even potentially get for a value.
Yeah, I mean, you know me. I'm all about Tannehill. It's Tannehill time.
Tanny time.
I'm all over it. I mean, you know me. I think a strategy that I think most of us like, for the most part, is we like to wait on quarterbacks. Wait till the middle rounds if you get a good value, but usually we're waiting to the later rounds to draft a quarterback. Me personally, I like to draft 2 quarterbacks and kind of play the matchups. Yeah, maybe one really pops and you kind of hit a hidden gem. But Tannehill's a guy who's going in like the 9th, 10th round right now. He's the 13th quarterback in ADP. I know it's early, so that's obviously going to change, especially with the acquisition of a Julio Jones. But he's going to be a guy. If I'm going to wait on quarterback, I'll grab him and then I'll draft another quarterback late. I mean, in 2019, he was 1st in quarterback rating. 2020, 5th in quarterback rating. So I mean, the guy's just, like I said earlier, highly efficient, and he was one of the best quarterbacks in terms of play action passing. And you get a guy like Julio Jones out there, it's just only going to make things even better for him. I mean, he finished QB7 last year. So, yeah, I think, is he going to be a top 5 quarterback? Probably not with how much they run the ball. But do I think he could be a top 12 quarterback? 100%. Do I think he can be a quarterback that you could match up with another quarterback later on in the draft and just have a solid quarterback that could potentially be a top 5 quarterback, on a week-to-week basis? 100%. So, yeah, I love Tannehill. I love what this does for Tannehill right here.
Yeah, and I mean, if anything were to happen to Derrick Henry, this offense probably would go a lot more pass-heavy. Yeah. I mean, that's always in the back pocket of all 3 of these guys we just discussed.
Yeah. Or as you say, the realm of possibility.
Yes.
Yeah. And like they said, I mean, he runs the ball. Yes. I mean, the last 2 years, he's only played 28 games with the Titans the last 2 years because, he took over halfway through the season for Mariota, which we called. But he's 55 touchdowns, only 13 interceptions.
Side note.
And 11 rushing touchdowns. So, he gets you those rushing touchdowns on the ground, which are, extra points. Especially if you're in a standard league where you only get 4 points for passing touchdown. It's nice to have a quarterback that can get you some rushing touchdowns.
For sure.
Get that extra 6 points on the ground. And then those rushing yards, you get 30, 40 rushing yards a game. Those are just extra points right there.
I do. Speaking facts.
Ryan Tannehill helped
Hey, remember when we called it?
I mean, like I always say,
bro.
these dudes just read off my notes, so I don't have anything to say. They took them.
I feel like Ryan Tannehill is one of those guys that is always there. Like I feel like he's available later rounds.
I feel like he's worth like $200 million. You would not expect it.
Okay, let's go on to another quarterback and see how he's affected. We got Matt Ryan.
Ice baby.
Matty Ice.
He's listening to "Don't Kill Yourself." He's reading "Don't Kill Yourself" books.
Oh, good old
wedding crashers. You're reading "Don't Kill Yourself" books. It's for a friend. Yeah, I mean, fuck, man. He lost it. Hey, he lost his bud. I mean, he got Kyle Pitts. I mean, what else? I'm not going to draft him in any of my leagues.
Yeah,
I mean,
fuck.
I mean, I don't have much to say about it. I'll talk about the players, like the receivers, once we get there. But
the past 2 years, I feel like Matt Ryan's probably one of the most one of the hardest quarterbacks to predict. He'll have a juicy matchup and he'll fucking put up like 3 points, and then he'll have a terrible matchup and just like blow fucking the Falcons will score like 50 points. It doesn't make any sense. I'm kind of out overall on Matt Ryan, especially Julio Jones leaving. Get him off my fucking fantasy team, baby.
I mean, he's gonna sling that thing for sure. So
or try.
They're gonna be
Try.
Well, he's gonna throw it. It's just I don't know how accurate he's gonna be. But yeah, I mean, I like the weapons, but him, I don't know. I'm not gonna take him. Go ahead,
I mean,
T.
for me, I kind of personally have a do not draft list. I think Matt Ryan might end up on this do not draft list. I mean, he's in 13 seasons, he's only had 30 or more passing touchdowns 3 times. I mean, so the ceiling isn't really there on a consistent basis. I mean, like you just said, Matt, I almost called you Matt. I mean, Mike, he's just so inconsistent. He'll have a juicy matchup and then he'll give you like 10 points. And you're like, what the fuck? And then so you'll sit him, and then on the bench he'll put up like 30 points. And you're like, what the fuck? So the next week you want to start him, and then he'll put up another dud. And I don't know. It's just it doesn't help you losing a guy like Julio Jones. I mean, I get it. They draft Kyle Pitts, who we're going to get into in a second, who's really good and really talented. But I mean, the guy's a rookie. He's not Julio Jones, who's going to be a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer when his time comes. So yeah, I'm out on Matt Ryan this year.
Yeah, I mean the offensive line struggled last year. I mean, I know it's a new coordinator, new system, but I mean it was just we were talking like there was one game where it's like I forgot who they were playing, but I was just talking about how bad the offensive line was, and and they didn't draft anyone until the 3rd or 4th round, which is like, yeah, you took linemen, but those aren't like top tier like lineman picks. Yeah. You lose Julio Jones. I forget the numbers. I've heard it like it's one of those things where I haven't looked up because I've heard it so many times where it's like the numbers are so different with Julio Jones versus without Julio Jones, and now he's without Julio Jones. Like I said, Kyle Pitts is a rookie. I mean, we don't know what we're gonna get in the rookie season from him. I mean, Calvin Ridley's a stud. I mean, he had so you have him, but I mean, outside of that, you're going to, someone will discuss, but Russel Gage is his next option, probably in the offense. So it's a big hit. Offensive line's not good. I think that team's going to struggle this year.
All right, let's go on to the next guy here. We got Calvin Ridley. We all were freaking real rock hard for Calvin Ridley last year.
And these connotations, but
I mean, I was.
I mean,
I wasn't. I think we all were.
Yeah, I wasn't not. You know what I mean?
I think we all took a little bit of Cialis together and sat around this table.
I know. Hey, remember, y'all laughed at me. I took Julio and Calvin. They look good for 4 weeks.
I don't know. I didn't laugh.
Well, you're not in the league otherwise.
I sympathy exhaled, maybe.
Who won that league?
One of those.
Fuck.
This guy over here.
Calvin Ridley. Who wants to start off?
I'll go. Fuck it. Dog, he's a beast. I just play. No, he finished top 3, top 4.
Just clip that and be like, what do you guys think about Calvin Ridley? I'll go, fuck it. He's a beast. That's it. That's
first, I'm gonna
That's
start.
a wrap. Get me out of here.
Hey, he's a touchdown machine, first of all. He gets into the ends. We were talking about it earlier. But it's more, I hear people like, oh, Julio's gone. He's going to get double covered, all this. He's not good. My man is solid. After week 10, when Julio didn't play anymore, this dude had 73 targets, 47 catches, 717 yards, 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns, but he averaged 18 yards per catch from after their week 10 bye, so 11 to 17.
Yeah.
I'll take that. 700 fucking yards. I think he had
the volume, like you said,
is ridiculous. 73 targets. He had over 100 yards. I want to say 5 of the 6 games with like a couple 130s, a 160. The dude gets open. I got shit about Russel Gage once we get there, but Russell Gage actually is sneaky, a solid option. You have Kyle Pitts coming there. I think Ridley's going to eat. Like I said, he's a fucking amazing route runner. He's going to get open. Devontae Smith is actually who he reminds me of. Not a big guy, but just gets it done. Yeah. But
so you mean Devontae Smith reminds you of Calvin Ridley?
Yes, a young.
I was going to ask you this, Anthony, before you go in on it.
Yeah.
I know you kind of pay more attention than us, at least, to the reception perception. What was Ridley's reception perception, if you can remember off the top of your head?
The prior years, I mean, it was.
I'm assuming he's pretty good.
I can't remember off the top of my head. He progressed, I know, from year 1 to year 2, was winning at a lot of routes.
But pretty good, right?
The one I'm trying to pick at is the man versus zone. I can't remember that exactly because that will play a little bit of a role if you see more double teams.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty good with it overall.
I mean, I like Ridley. You know, he's a guy who I think in the ADPs he was going in the second round, and I mean, if you're looking to, if you draft, you go running back in the first round. And, you're kind of thinking like, all right, I really want to try and get one of these top-tier wide receivers in the second round. And Calvin Ridley's there. I cannot hit the draft button fast enough. I mean, last year, 143 targets, which was 7th most. I can't see a scenario outside of an injury, knock on wood, where he doesn't replicate that or surpass that number. So, I mean, you're looking at a guy who's going to be top 8 in terms of total targets.
Everything.
Yeah, my only one concern is so it's actually, before you even brought it up, that was my one concern is you said the 3 touchdowns in the last part of that
last
season.
6 games. Yeah.
Matt Ryan does. I don't think he's a 30 touchdown quarterback this year. I don't even.
They play one more game, coach.
They all play one more game. So everybody plays one more game.
So he can maybe get to 30. He needs one more game.
The Falcons have one extra game this year.
One time.
Just the Falcons.
He's had some
only 2 touchdowns a game, too, when you think about it.
He's had some seasons where he's down to like 20 touchdowns. I mean, I think that might be kind of in the realm of possibilities without Julio Jones. And that's just my personal opinion on the team this year, is that if Matt Ryan's closer to that 20 touchdown season, that Calvin Ridley gets you a little bit more yardage and a little bit more receptions, but it's not the huge, Hayden Hurst gets 6, let's just say Kyle Pitts gets 4, 5, Russell Gage gets, that's just 10 right there. That could actually just dent that, even if you're going to 25. You throw in these other players. So that's my one little concern with Ridley, is I don't think he has the highest percentage chance of a 10-plus touchdown season. So that's my one knock on him, is I'm a little concerned about the high upside touchdown this year, just based off my personal opinion on what I think the Falcons offense is going to be and what I think Matt Ryan's going to be. If you're saying fade Matt Ryan and put him on your do not draft list, you have to do that based off of not yardage. You got to do that based off of touchdowns. So if you base it off of touchdowns, take 20 touchdowns, divide that up. It's a little scary on the touchdown side if you do that. So that's my one knock on him. Just nitpicking.
So what do you like a low end 1, high end 2?
He's still in my mid 1. This is early in the offseason. I'd got to look at a lot of things, and I'd really have to have a hard time seeing Matt Ryan. I'd really have to see Matt Ryan throwing for closer to 20 than 30 to put him down to the low end 1. It's early, but that's, like I said, that's my knock on it, because that is a possibility there.
Top 10 wide receiver.
Oh yeah, you have to look at upside and downside. So the upside still is 8, 9 touchdowns. Maybe 10 if everything falls perfect, but the downside is 4, 5.
Yeah.
See, I think I don't like Matt Ryan for a different reason than you guys don't. I think he's gonna be like a Jameis. He's gonna throw for a lot, but he's just gonna turn the ball over to where I don't want him. See, I think he could throw for 30, but he's gonna throw for 20 interceptions. I think they're gonna be losing a lot, so they're gonna be forcing it and passing it and passing it. I think Ridley gets the 10. He got the 10 his rookie year and sat 4 games.
Yeah.
Last year he missed a whole game or maybe 2 games. So I just don't like Matt Ryan for the inconsistency, because he can give you an 8, he'll give you a 30, he'll give you a 6, he'll give you a 28. That's why I don't like him. I think he's gonna slang it, but he's also gonna throw it to the other team a lot.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't want him.
One thing I can say with Matt Ryan, 10 straight seasons were 4,000 or more passing yards. So even if the touchdowns aren't there with the 30+ that you'd like to see, he's been consistent at least getting 4,000 yards. And you're always talking about the piece of the pie. So let's just say he throws for 42 100 yards. I was gonna say 42,000 yards. That's a lot of yards.
In that case, fire up Pitts, Hurst.
Yeah.
Bring Todd Gurley
Let's
back.
say he throws for 4,200 passing yards. What chunk of the pie would you assume Calvin Ridley to get there? 25%, which would be what?
I'd probably assume for 1,400 roughly.
1,400 yards, right?
Yeah.
If he's healthy, he's easily capable of getting to 1,500.
Well, that's 33%, right? 4,200.
It wouldn't surprise me if you finished top 5 in receiving.
I mean, that's just my knock. It's a possibility. I look at all ranges of outcomes. That's what I'm very analytical when it comes to these players, and it's like that 4 touchdown season, 5. It's in the realm of possibilities. Matt Ryan struggles, and he throws for 20 touchdowns. It's in the realm.
Yeah,
and that's where it's like just go back to the last point I made with AJ Brown and Julio Jones. If you end up becoming someone that's more cautious with Matt Ryan, push Calvin Ridley up more in like a PPR format, and then move him down a little bit on your half point and standards, especially standard, if you believe that's a possibility.
Yeah,
that's where you make that adjustment when you're going in your drafts. If you have a PPR draft, I'm going to value Calvin Ridley a little bit higher because of the potential for the yardage is a piece of the pie, like you said.
Catches.
Yeah, catches. But if it's a standard, I might push him down below someone who you see who has more touchdown potential.
For sure. All right, we jump into the next guy right here then.
Yeah. Oh, look, he just passed it. That was literally a perfect segue. Russell Gage just passed that bitch.
Russel Gage.
All right, so you said you had some stuff that you wanted to go in on the Gage here. So where do you gauge
the Gage?
Russell?
So for me, I mean, just off rip, from same thing off rip.
Why don't you do it off Gage?
Rip. After week 10, he averaged 8.3 targets a game. If you do that through 17 games, because that's 140 targets. I'm not saying, I mean, he could easily do that if they're slinging the ball, but the fact that he got that many after Julio Jones wasn't playing, Matt Ryan's more than familiar with him. At the ADP that he's going, that's way more worth. I mean, I think he's going to get 100 targets.
Yeah, I could see 140 seems a little absurd.
Already, yes.
I mean, Calvin really only had 143 it was last year, and that was 7th most. So 140 is a little absurd.
But, I mean, Calvin Ridley also missed 2 games. So Calvin Ridley probably would have got 160.
Yeah.
And Russell Gage also, I mean, he was on pace for 100 from week 11 on. If he would have gotten that a whole season, it was exactly 100 targets.
Another one of these LSU wide receivers.
Hey,
we were talking about that when we did the rookie episode. These LSU wide receivers, they come into the league and they're pretty good.
They do their thing. So I like him.
Come in hot.
He's more or less. I like him for where he's getting drafted.
Hansel, so hot right now.
He's a guy that can spark the first few weeks and then you can dish him off. But he does have talent. I mean, they run a good amount of passing plays. He dropped that dime to Julio Jones that he dropped too. If you remember that last year, went right through his hands. But
yeah, no, it cost me a game.
Yeah, I had Julio. Me too. Cost me a game too. Fucking hoe. But yeah, I like him. Like I said, ADP wise, I really like.
I mean, I think Russell Gage, you're probably going to get him. If
good.
You're in a 3 wide receiver league, he's probably going to go as your 3rd wide receiver or maybe like a flex option. I mean, definitely should be drafting him. He should be one of these late round target guys for me at least because, I mean, with the absence of Julio Jones, I get it. You got Kyle Pitts coming in, but still a rookie. At least Gage, he's familiar with the offense. He's familiar with Matt Ryan, and he's been in the league for a couple of years, so he knows what it takes to be a pro, and he knows the speed of the game. Which I feel like most people underestimate. The speed. College is fast, but I mean, the pros is fast.
Just a guess. How many targets? Guess how many he had last year?
I'm looking at it.
87.
69.
110.
110.
He had 110 last year. So my man is getting the volume, and I mean, Kyle Pitts is obviously going to eat up a lot, but those are Julio targets. I mean, Matt Ryan likes the guy. He had 110 last year. I'm just saying.
So what do you think? You think he can get 110, 120 again?
I think he can get 100. I mean, if he got 110 last year, I mean, and they're going to be losing. That's
with an extra game?
I don't like an extra game too. But they're going to be losing. They're not going to be very good unless they're good in their run control. Then Mike Davis is going to be the fucking man.
So basically we think uptick for Russell Gage and.
Well, just target wise. I mean, who knows what they do with it? But I mean, the targets are going to be there. I mean, I don't know if he's going to drop the shits, but
I mean, the volume.
The volume is all I'm saying.
Volume is nice. Over any player you can get over 100 targets is going to be valuable. Yeah, to some degree.
And he's going fucking not in the top 8 or 9. Oh, maybe now because the Julio trade, but
I would assume him going in like the 7th, 8th, 9th round.
Now
maybe
he
give or
is. But
take.
a lot of people wouldn't know 110 targets when you hear Russell Gage.
I did not.
I think he's a nice PPR. I'm gonna make one quick. I think he's a nice PPR piece. It kind of goes to what a little bit of what I said to the touchdown and upside and just the whole offensive breakdown. And also, he had a lot of targets, but compared to the target volume and what he did with it, he didn't do much. I mean, he had no 100-yard games. It took him 11 targets and 9 catches in one game to get 90 yards. So it's not a guy that's gonna, even as your wide receiver 3, go out there and have the potential for. I like those home run guys when I'm starting a flex or a wide receiver 3 that can have 125 and a touchdown or 2. And I'm not saying he can't get better, but you didn't really see him do much even in his high target volume games. There was a lot of decent target games with low yardage, and I think a step back from Matt Ryan's coming. So I think he's a nice piece, but he's probably someone I'm looking more for, like a PPR kind of bench guy that I can throw in like a week where I need a guy who like flex and stuff like that. So, and that's if he's the number 2 read in the offense.
Nice.
Yeah, because we'll see with this next guy.
Yeah.
You got something else?
I was going to say, maybe we'll see Russell Gage on before the hype.
Maybe. We'll see. Who knows? I heard he gained 27 pounds of pure muscle. I'm just kidding. That's not true.
All right, let's go on to the rookie. We're going on to the rookie tight end, Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts goes to the Atlanta Falcons. So Julio Jones leaving, how does this affect your perception on Kyle Pitts? I think a lot of people were excited about Kyle Pitts outside of the NFL draft. Now that all those extra targets are available from Julio Jones leaving, what do you guys think? Is it just an extra big fat boner you guys have for Kyle Pitts now?
All I'm going to say before T goes in is he has the longest wingspan of any player ever since the combine started. And that's like wide receiver or tight end ever. Anybody, Calvin Johnson, Julio, whoever the fuck else has long arms.
So he's like a pterodactyl.
He has the longest, he has the longest wingspan they've ever recorded. And that's it.
He just the ball's like what sails over Matt Ryan.
On top of everything else that he's already done, just know that he has the longest wingspan.
He flies up and catches it.
It's kind of funny you said Megatron right there because, there's only one Megatron, obviously.
Yes.
I mean, the guy's, first ballot Hall of Famer. He's going to make the Hall of Fame this year.
2 seasons.
But, I mean, if there's a guy who could be like what was...
Like transcendent?
Yeah, like the Megatron 2.0. What's the Star Scream or Sky Scream? Like Megatron's buddy or whatever.
Star Scream.
That would be Kyle Pitts to me. I mean, the guy's like 6'6". I mean, he's like a tight end wide receiver hybrid. I think this is why they were like, okay, if we get Kyle Pitts, then we could trade Julio Jones because this is basically going to be our next Julio Jones almost, or kind of fill that void. I mean, obviously it's hard to fill Julio Jones' shoes, but a guy like Kyle Pitts, like I said, 6'6". I mean, he's a guy where I wrote in my notes like he's just always open because even when he's covered, he's open, and that's what Megatron was. Even how many times do you see highlights with Megatron where Stafford would literally just throw the ball up, and there'd be 2, 3, 4 guys on him sometimes, and Megatron would just out-jump everybody, out-muscle everybody, and come down with the football. And that's kind of what I see in Kyle Pitts. I know it's kind of like high praise for a rookie who hasn't even played a snap in the NFL yet, but, I mean, the guy has that skill set. I mean, big, strong, fast, physical. I mean, he's got all the intangibles. I mean, what did he go, 4th overall?
I mean, I was going to say he went 4th fucking overall as a tight end. That's
got an interesting stat.
Hashtag.
Pew, pew, pew. Go ahead, T.
In the last 20 years, how many tight ends have gotten over 600 yards in the rookie season? 20 years.
Last 20 years?
4.
Yeah.
So just like that, we'll draft him for Dynasty.
I'll say
4.
2.
It's in the middle. It's 3.
Oh.
Is it? Hey, but how many are named Kyle frickin' Pitts, coach?
Yeah.
Let me guess. 74.
All right,
But he's
And
not.
even-
He's not a traditional tight end. Like he's gonna line up wide. He's gonna line up outside,
Everywhere.
slot.
All right,
tight
here.
ends,
Do any of us think he's not going to get 600 yards?
I think he'll top
I think he's
600.
got 603.
Okay. Say. I actually just hope I hope he goes for like 220 the first week and then like 20, 12.
I just wanted to bring it up because it's
That
like
is crazy to think about, though.
I think he's going to get overdrafted. I know he's not a traditional tight end and with that, but I mean, Evan Ingram was someone who's kind of, you could say, somewhat similar. Evan Ingram in his rookie year did go for 722, so I think that's probably, if you want to look more closer to the upside with maybe, I think Evan Ingram only had 6 touchdowns. No, he has
When in the draft was Evan Ingram drafted?
2017. He's
Yeah,
like the
but-
only recent tight end to go for over 600 yards.
Yeah.
Mike Ditka, number 1 overall for a rookie, 1,076 yards, by the way.
Wow.
Pretty
In
good for
14
him.
games played.
That's actually pretty good.
Bring my juice box boy.
That's pretty good.
But I mean, I only brought it up because I did kicking and screaming. I only wanted to bring it up a little bit because I think the hype might get a little too high for him, and I think he might end up going like where we always take these tight ends and like these outbreak tight ends, like the 4th, 5th round, 6th round, where these guys are like, oh, they're gonna be a breakout tight end, and if that's the price where it's gonna be paid, I'm not gonna pay that price.
Would you ever consider taking like a Kelsey and then him in like the 6th and then just hope he balls and then trade Kelsey?
It would depend on team makeup. I don't like taking 2 tight ends.
I
You
mean,
only get to start one.
It was just worth the question. You can go double tight, but I mean
I've done
that means he's balling. That means he's balling. If you do that, he's balling. But
yeah,
tight ends are like at a premium right now. So
Yeah.
And I mean, fuck.
Yeah, Dre loves his tight ends.
Well, hey,
I mean, the guys like we said earlier. If Matt Ryan throws for 42,000 yards,
well, if he throws 42,000, take him number 1 overall.
4,200 yards. What piece of the pie here? If Calvin Ridley's going to get 13, 14, I guess ceiling could be 1,500 yards for Calvin Ridley possibly. And you just said Gage. On how many 100 yards games did Gage have?
1.
0. Okay, so more of a PPR guy, kind of, right?
Yeah.
So if Matt Ryan throws for that many yards, what's the piece of a pie that maybe he can get? Could you see a potential 800-yard season out of Kyle Pitts?
Exactly what I was going to say. 800?
Yeah, but I think you could also be missing the Zacharico, whatever the hell the dude's name is.
Orlando Zacchaeus.
You got to look at how much they're going to throw to the running back position comparable to last year. So that stuff you got. And how much do they use the next guy? 2 tight end sets, so that can get split up between the 2 positions.
Yeah.
So those are things that could dictate that.
What's his ADP, Mike? You mind pulling that up for us real quick, if you could?
Sure thing.
While he's pulling that up real quick for dynasty purposes, Jesus. Frank Darby, wide receiver ASU. The Falcons took him, I want to say, the 6th round. I mean, solid prospect. I mean, now that Julio's gone, he could fight Zacchaeus for the number 3 spot. Like I said, dynasty. He's worth more like a year or 2, but just listen. I'm just saying. So
no, you're
so
good.
You didn't
You're
say
good.
it.
You're good. Sorry.
He's dropping some knowledge, dude.
Just fucking.
Sorry.
That
He's
wasn't
getting
on my-
deep.
I'm just saying
He's getting
deep,
so
bro.
deep.
He's dropping some dumb fire knowledge.
Sorry, Dre. I'm sorry.
I feel left out.
I apologize. It's just Justin saying "dumb fire."
That's just pretty funny.
Anyways, but yeah, 905 is Kyle Pitts ADP.
Oh, see, that's not
Yeah,
bad.
the 9th round,
I
I'll
can fucks
take a
with
shot.
that.
I think that's
there,
right
you know?
now, though.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're in June. If you're listening to this in the future, but
So
I could fucks with that.
he's more or less someone. If you wait to take a tight end and take him in balls, you could like not a league winner, but he can just make your team dumb fire.
And all it takes is, one preseason game, he'll come out and make a stupid catch, and all of a sudden, his
It's always
ADP
a
jumps
catch.
to the 4th or 5th round. Yeah,
It's not going to be a block, I'll tell you that.
Maybe he comes out, he's got like 3 catches, 80 yards, and a touchdown or something like that. And all of a sudden, his ADP just shoots through the roof.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's early right now.
That always gets me. It's like, oh, did you see the one-handed catch that so-and-so made? Like, they all make one-handed catches, right?
Yeah,
like
and
the lineman can make a one-handed catch jumping up. They're all like elite athletes.
I mean, I think
He's like the best of the best.
JJ Watt did have a 1-yard touchdown.
Dude,
back when he was out there doing things.
James Harrison would look like a star fucking receiver.
Oh, man.
Let's
Not
just
really, but-
before we move on to the next one. Kyle Pitts finishes top 10.
it doesn't take much. So
Yeah.
I mean, he
All
could
right.
be the next Mike Ditka. Who knows?
Yeah.
I think
How many tight ends get drafted 4th overall?
Yeah, dude. How many
You know what I
tight
mean?
ends? How many tight ends have a mustache like Mike Ditka?
Oh,
yeah, tell him that.
Mike Ditka. Yeah, not that many, I guess. Gronk. I feel like Gronk should have a mustache.
I was gonna say Gronk balled his rookie year, but he didn't. He just had a lot of tugs. He had like 12 of them things.
Dude, what about Aaron Hernandez?
Hey, I fucked with Aaron Hernandez.
He
Not like that.
He had
chill.
like 560 yards, and he was down
That's
there.
pretty close.
He was out there shooting people
He's
on
right there.
weekends.
Side note, I saw this meme on Aaron Hernandez. Some guy, it was like a meme. Some guy posted it. Like he tackled Aaron Hernandez and knocked his helmet off, and he was talking shit to him. And Aaron Hernandez got up and got in his face, and he's like, "I'll fucking kill you." And he's like, "Little did I know he wasn't joking."
Yeah, he's not one to
It's
talk
like I
shit to.
stood face to face with the killer and made it out alive or
Do
something.
you want to die? I mean, maybe. Where are we going with this?
Oh yeah, you just talk shit. You don't mean it, bro. You're not fucking about
I'll
that
fucking kill
lifestyle.
you.
Yeah,
That's
he
what I told him.
Meanwhile, he's just like burying bodies in the fucking
bro.
that's crazy.
He pulls up to the locker room like, "What'd you say?" Like,
Oh fuck.
what's up, fool?
He's probably like 6'3" in high school.
Just does it on the field.
For real.
Insane.
He just does it on the field.
I mean, that's kind of the amount of fucks that guy gave.
Yeah.
If you watch
That
that
sounds about
documentary,
right.
it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Great
Yeah.
documentary.
Let's go on a lighter note. Let's talk about our boy Hayden Hurst.
Hey, T, go ahead.
Yeah, T,
This-
Yeah,
yeah.
Andy Dalton.
Yo,
Hey,
fight him, dude.
This,
Fight
hey,
him.
speaking of tight, this is your boy.
Fight this guy.
Yeah, this is a guy I lobbied for pretty big last year. I mean,
Still, he didn't do bad.
Finished as the tight end 10 in PPR. Finished as the tight end 9 in half-point PPR. So wasn't a stud, but technically still finished as a back end tight end 1. Like Anthony kind of said, we talked about Kyle Pitts,
Back
top
end
10 tight
tight
end.
end.
It doesn't really take much to finish as a top 10 tight end with how bad it kind of gets once you get past like those top tier elite options. But decent guy here. I mean, one thing I say with Hayden Hurst, I'm probably not touching him this year. I mean, he had 88 targets last year, which was tied for 10th most amongst tight ends. I know Julio Jones is gone, so a lot of those targets are going to go to
Senor
Kyle
Pitts.
Pitts and stuff like that. And, maybe Russell Gage, breaks that 110, 120 barrier. But I do find it hard to believe that, you spent a 4th-round pick on a tight end / wide receiver hybrid option, and, what is Kyle Pitts on this offense? The 4th option at best. You got Ridley, Pitts, Gage.
Oh, you mean Hurst? Yeah, 4th.
Yeah, at best, Hayden Hurst to me is the 4th best option in this passing offense right here. So I'll probably just be fading Hayden Hurst here, especially with me, if I'm not too high on Matt Ryan, I'm not going to be too high on his 4th option.
Well,
Yeah,
So-
And not to mention the second tight end.
I guess to keep it on topic though, like, do you think that Julio Jones going out affects him at all? Like, what do you think? Do you think you're just still down on him because of Kyle Pitts being there, or?
Yeah.
I mean, I think he has some deep sleeper appeal. I mean, this is deep. I mean, but he's not someone I'm drafting, but he's someone that, we don't know what the snap count is going to be to start the year with Kyle Pitts. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
Hayden Hurst he's starting at tight end, he's lining up. Maybe they do run 2 tight end sets, and Kyle Pitts is coming on and off the field when it's more of the run action. And maybe to start the year, Hayden Hurst is the tight end you want to have to start the year. I mean that's a potential possibility. I mean, I know he's a number 4 overall, but I just brought up the point of these rookie tight ends can struggle in their year, and it's different when you're going against these linebackers that are just as fast as you are. Whether you're playing the slot or playing outside, it's a completely different game. So I think he has some deep sleeper appeal, but someone I'm not drafting, but someone I'm probably watching to see how the season starts with the Falcons.
Hell, Pitts can line up at receiver, and they both play, coach.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think you're going to see some formations where Hurst is lined up at tight end, and you have Kyle Pitts lined up either double tight or Kyle Pitts is lined up outside, wide. Or, even Kyle Pitts literally can line up anywhere on the field.
Yeah, so, that'll help Hurst.
He's a unicorn, in a sense,
Yeah.
for what Kyle Pitts brings to the
Yeah,
to the
maybe his
option.
versatility will help.
Shit, he lined up on defense, still scored a touchdown.
I love touchdowns. Go ahead.
But, yeah, Hayden Hurst,
Yeah,
It's definitely a no for me, though.
yeah, definitely no for me. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Hayden Hurst, I'm sorry, bro.
Good guy. Hey, like Tier said, good guy.
Great
Listen,
guy.
Great guy.
Best man at my wedding.
Great guy. Just
for sure.
not the guy for me right now.
it's not my
Definitely.
guy.
Just
I'd
seems
let
like
him
a-
date my sister, maybe.
If I had one, maybe. Good guy. Good guy.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I have a sister though. Okay.
All right, well, I mean, that's
Cool. Cool, Michael. Way to fucking add to the podcast. But that's it for this one. This little bonus episode. We want to go over Julio Jones and the trade and how that affected everything. So I'm glad. Did you guys enjoy it? I loved having all 4 of us here.
pronounced Julio.
Julio?
Julio.
Julio?
Yeah, that was cool, man.
Julio
Yeah,
Jones?
His parents are from Spain.
His name is actually Quentin Torres, which is weird. Quentin
Yeah, that
Torres
is weird.
Lopez.
But yeah,
that's
Good
Greek.
guy.
guys, if you are listening, wherever you're watching this, listening to this, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, fucking upvote, leave a rating and review. Follow us on whatever podcast page. Do it all. Check out the Patreon. Links in the description. And we have that link tree. It has all of our stuff in it as well.
All our
TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok if you want to
Pretty
as
big tree.
well.
TikTok, you don't stop
Instagram,
TikTok.
whatever, bro. We got you. If you want to ask us some questions, do that also. That'll be super hot, super freaking bonerific. Sorry, I keep
Moist.
doing this. Yeah. But yeah, thank you.
We're gonna have to start finding anytime you make like a dick reference or a little boys.
Yeah, I need to take
Yeah.
a shot or something. or
No, we
punch
can't.
myself in the forehead.
Mike just gets
do that.
nervous and then he doesn't know what to say and he's just like boner. Ah, shit.
Listen, man.
That is
Hey,
that's
listen,
like
we
my
can't-
go-to.
It's like his nervous
Mike, this is the
tick.
thing, Mike. We can't.
Boner, pee-pees.
Mike, we can't blow up with you talking about little boys and boners right now.
Yeah,
it's
you're
very,
right.
it's very PC, you know.
Yeah, but it's like my jawline kind of like it's like
it's there. It's there.
maybe I don't know. It like counteracts it. You know what I mean? Anyways, thanks for listening. This has been the AVG Fantasy Football Podcast with Dirty Mike and the boys.
Soup
And
kitchen.
us guys are out.